Pennsylvania, a state which played a pivotal role in the American Revolution, is in the spotlight again for another pivotal moment in America's history, the 2024 presidential election. With just 2 weeks to go, Kamala Harris and Donald Trump are locked in a dead heat. In a cliffhanger election like this one, it's the independent and undecided voters in a handful of swing states that are going to be the deciding factor. And there is no bigger prize among the swing states than Pennsylvania with its 19 electoral college votes.
So I am joined today by over 100 Republican leaders from across Pennsylvania and across our country who are supporting my candidacy for President of the United States.
You have to tell Kamala Harris that you've had enough, that you just can't take it anymore. We can't stand you. You're a shit vice president. The worst.
According to analysts, the candidate who wins Pennsylvania has more than a 90% chance of winning the White House. Pennsylvania has been a bellwether for presidential elections, picking the winning candidate in 10 of the last 12 cycles. But both candidates have their work cut out here. While a majority of the population is white, African Americans and Hispanics are the next largest groups. The state's two large urban areas, Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, heavily favor the Democrats. Between the two are vast stretches of rural territory where Republicans dominate. Since 1948, no Democrat has won the White House without Pennsylvania. But Pennsylvania is the only major swing state where a woman has never won a race for president, governor, or senator. At the same time, no MAGA candidate has won a major statewide race in Pennsylvania since Trump in 2016. Kamala Harris decided not to pick Josh Shapiro, the popular governor of the state, as her running mate. But when she did introduce Tim Walz as her pick, it was at a rally in Philadelphia. She also spent days preparing for her presidential debate in Pittsburgh and unveiled her economic plan in Pennsylvania a few weeks ago.
The American people face a choice between two fundamentally very different paths for our economy. I intend to chart a new way forward and grow America's middle class.
For Harris, the key to victory is to dominate in Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and win the suburbs by enough to offset Trump's margins in the rest of the state. An essential part of this strategy is to win over moderate voters and some Republicans, including the more than 160,000 who turned out to vote for former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley in the state's Republican primary.
You heard his words coming from him. He's talking about the enemy within Pennsylvania. He's talking about the enemy within our country, Pennsylvania. He's talking about that he considers anyone who doesn't support him or who will not bend to his will an enemy of our country. It's a serious issue.
Joe Biden narrowly beat Trump in Pennsylvania in 2020, but Harris lacks some of the advantages that Trump enjoyed. For instance, the Pennsylvania electorate is about 25% Catholic, and fewer than half the voters hold college degrees. Biden's Catholic background and working class appeal made many of them choose him in 2020.
Take a look at what happened.
Back in July, Trump was nearly assassinated when he held a massive rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Exactly 12 weeks ago this evening on this very ground, a cold-blooded assassin aimed to silence me and to silence the greatest movement, MAGA, in the history of our country. MAGA. We love MAGA.
Trump was the first Republican to win Pennsylvania since Bush Sr. in 1988. But Biden won it back for the Democrats in 2020. To flip the state again, Trump's strategy is to squeeze all the support he can out of the conservative parts of the state, including by registering and mobilizing those who may not have participated in past elections. White working-class voters remain a key demographic for him in the state and solidly supported Trump 8 years ago. To win them back, the former president visited a McDonald's in Pennsylvania and worked the drive-through window and frying machine.
My first day at McDonald's, I'm looking for a job.
Hello, President Trump. I'm Derek Jack and Antonio. I'm the owner.
Well, that's a good owner. Must be a wealthy guy, huh? Thank you very much. Well, I'm looking for a job, and I've always wanted to work at McDonald's, but I never did. I'm running against somebody that said she did, but it turned out to be a totally phony story. So, if you don't mind, I want to work the French fry counter.
Absolutely.
Trump is performing well with middle-aged and elderly voters. His influence in rural Pennsylvania remains really strong. And while the college-educated voters in the suburbs may be difficult to convince, Trump is chipping away at traditionally Democratic support among blue-collar union voters and young black men. And he's doing it by doubling down on his anti-immigrant rhetoric. Both the Harris and Trump campaigns have been pouring enormous resources into Pennsylvania. They're spending more on television advertising there than any other swing state. If the Democrats win Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, along with the congressional district in Nebraska, Kamala Harris is the next president. If the Republicans carry Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia, then Trump is back in office next year. So the White House's address may be 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, but the real road to the presidency runs through the state of Pennsylvania.